Right, I don't know how this is going to work, but I said I'm going to do a little video on the ink washes. What I've done so far is I've painted some of my Space Wolves. Can't get a bit of quality in there, the light. Painted some of my Space Wolves, my Reavers, and all I've done is I've just done a grey coat on the top, some brown on the bags on the legs, some silver onto the gun, a bit of black on the shoulders because that's how the colour scheme works for my ones. There is a little bit of, I don't know if you can actually see in there, some sort of stonish colour on the actual skull faceplate at the bottom. And a little bit in the eyes. I've also got one that's got a bit of flesh tone at the top. And I've also got sitting over here this little guy. So I might chuck a little bit of wash on him and see how that's going to come out. What I've got is the Games Workshop collection of washes. So we will try with some of those. As I said, something like null oil should be a real godsend for virtually everything. Let's just see. Oh, that's Laura just messaged me saying thanks for doing the little video. So hopefully this works. So let's see. This is the first time I've actually used any of these, so they're brand new to me. The set came with a Games Workshop's own shading brush. So it's not very clean on the end. That's a bit better. That is just purely the best way of doing all brushes. So a little clean like that, and there goes half my airbrush bits and pieces. Oh well. And that's how I clean virtually all my brushes. Well, a bit of water, that's what I do to my brushes after I've cleaned them. So what I want to do on this is I want to start picking out some more of the detail on the back, around here, get some of the lines in there and get some more of the detail to make this bit jump. So at the moment it looks like you can see detail in there, but that's just shade from where the light is, which is most annoying that I haven't got better lighting in here at the moment to do this with. But all I need to do is just get some null oil on the brush. Let's just see how it comes out. This is the first time I've actually used it, so just dipped it in there, and it comes on really nice actually. I don't need to be too neat about it, because afterwards I can always go back over the top with the grey to bring it back out. Straight away there's a bit of definition on there, so you can just use it straight fresh from the pot by the looks of things. And let's put some up here on the top sections. That goes in nicely. I mean, I won't sit here and do the entire model in front of you because that would just be a bit boring for a video. But it starts going in there nicely. There's a few bits down here which I've left sort of grey. You can see them definitely in here in the ridge lines where there should be sort of a bit darker colours. So what I wanted to see is how this comes out when I put a bit heavier amount. So I've laid the brush up quite a bit, and then I'm just going to lay it on. Now this is actually really quite interesting because this is not acting like most of the other inks that I've made up before. And this really just sits right into the crevices really nicely. This is much more of a shading colour. So it fits in really, really well without any effort. I'm just brushing it over the top. There's hardly any effort needed at all for this. If I just do a bit more on there. So I was thinking this was going to be a bit like some of the other earlier ink washes. What I can do is I can find one in a minute and show you the difference. But these are really, really easy to use. Let's do a bit on the brown. So hopefully this will just bounce up and you'll just see it straight away. So I'll just really slap that on there. Really quite heavily. Not caring if it goes onto the grey at all. I can always pick that out again, highlight it again if necessary, or there's other techniques for getting rid of it. I'm sure once it dries it will give a nice... Actually, yeah, I'm really slapping this on there now. And that's just folded right into all the crevices really well. Lovely word, crevices. So I don't know if you can see, there's very little on there. Slap it on with the brush. Let's go a little bit heavier. Hopefully you can sort of see what I'm doing. And straight away, well, it's a bit shiny at the moment, but there's already definition coming out on that. So it really is lovely stuff. This is even easier than I thought it was going to be. Just slapping it over the face mask here, and suddenly all the little teeth details have just popped right out. I've taken some photos of these before actually starting to work with the washes, which I've already sent to Laura. Hopefully she'll show you those. I can send them on as well again to you, and then I'll send some more, do some more photos after I've finished doing this marine. And you can see how easy this really is. This is really lovely. This is a really lovely wash actually. I'm really pleased with it. Better than I thought it was going to come out. Really, really lovely. Games Workshop have done a fantastic job with this. I went off their paints for a long time, but I've heard a lot of people recommending Null Oil and saying quite a bit about good things about their new paints. And I will agree, this is really nice. It's flowing nicely into all the grooves. And obviously, once you've used it a bit, it thins out on there and it just picks up the lines really nicely. And if you're not sure, just have little bits on the brush. Do it once. And then when you come to do it again, because it's already wet, it surprisingly just drops into that wet area really easily. So if you're really, really nervous, what you could do is you could just do a little tiny thin bit of water on a brush and brush it around the areas. And then when you come to do the wash on it, it will pick up those wet areas first. It will flow into those quicker. And so therefore, as you're running your brush around, it picks it up. And obviously when you're doing the back areas, like in here, behind it and underneath its head, these are really sort of shadowy areas. You can be really quite full on with it. gone a bit heavy there on the head. So I'm doing, I'm just rinsing off my brush with a bit of water. Seeing that it's just clear water. And then I'm gonna put that on the areas I want to clean back up. Magically, it pushes it away. So that's null oil. But what I also want to do is I want to show you, this should hopefully be really quite clear. There you go. Simple, bit of brush. Rinse it off in water. And through the lips. A little suck. And it cleans out. So that was the null oil, and that's really come out nicely. Now, what have I got in here? So, other colours. We've got a nightshade, which looks like it's a blue, a crimson colour, a green, an earth shade, flesh tones, an orangey yellow, good for fiery tones, and a sepia. And what I want to try out, and this is something you probably will like, is the green. A bit of a shake up. Slap of tea. Alright, let's just move some of these out of the way. Let's move this into shot. You can see, brand new, still opening up around there. Open it up. I mean, you can already see the fact that as soon as I've opened it up, it's all just virtually run off and there's hardly anything there. So you will be needing to stick your paintbrush into the pot. Now, because of the colorations I'm doing on mine, most of this is going to be quite white in the end place anyway. But there's certain bits like this, these sort of scarring lines here. I've seen some nice effects in green on that before. And I want to get a bit of a green hue on the back here in the skin, fleshy tone bits, in some of these bits. Just to give it a bit of a try and see how it comes out. So, let's get a bit of this green on. I mean, what I quite often do is I'll swirl my brush into the paint pot and then use the end there to just brush off a little bit extra if I feel I need it. So, as you can see, this is all quite white. And I'm just going to start filtering that in. I didn't actually want to brush any of that off. Yeah, that's quite nice. I'm just dabbing it on there, and because it's so watery, it just flows into the right places. I mean, you can see there are certain bits that are flowing out of it, but, and I'll do a couple of photos of this afterwards as well, so you can see how it's going on. But I'm not doing anything special with this. I'm just blobbing it on. And because it's where it's going thicker inside, it gets much darker, but then on the outside it gets that sort of recesses. And I did a lot of this on the Great Unclean one and on the Phoenix as well. And that's how I got a lot of detail on those, is just by doing stuff like that. And that's come out quite nicely. Let's just see what will happen with some of the other colours. Just have a little bit of play around with it. Worst comes to worst, I can always paint over the top of this. And then after that, I'll quickly finish off with a older type of wash to show you what they used to be like. Somewhere in amongst all my paints here. There we go. This is a very old ink. This is an old Citadel colour. This is what they used to look like. I'll do that in a minute. I just want to see what's going to happen with this orangey yellow colour. Because looking at this on the front, it's got this lovely little eye. Rounded eye. I want to see what this comes out like. As I say, I think to start off with, I would just suggest starting off just using or getting a nice big null oil and just playing with that. Alright, so let's see what this does. Because that null oil can go over the top of anything. Oh no, that's a nice colour. That's going to really help paint some yellows. So, because yellow can be an absolute nightmare to paint. That's gone on there really nicely. Got a nice orangey, deep, fiery colour underneath. So all that is just white, and then the orange just painted over the top of that. Now, that would work quite nicely to start making some rusty effects as well. And all I'm doing is I'm just touching it again in the centre to get a little bit more pigmentation in it, so it looks a bit more deeper. I really don't know how well this is coming out on the camera. That is really quite nice. Right, as I said, I was going to quickly show you what the armour wash is like. The old, not armour wash, the old black wash. Let's clean the brush again. I'm still using exactly the same brush. Let me just clean up. Alright. So this is what I grew up using. So let's find another one of these models. And again, underneath here, this is all grey at the moment, where it's sort of the flexible bits, it's also quite grey in here. So I'm going to use this black wash. So this is a quite thick old wash. If I put some on here, you can sort of see it. You can see it pulling back together again. It just swerve, it sort of pulls itself back together. So let's have a go with this and see how this all comes out. So straight away, this looks like it's almost like a black paint going on it. So this is where this is quite thick, and this is, I'm guessing, what you'd be worried about. So I've shown you this is what the old ones do. But don't ever worry if it goes on too thick like that. Just get a load of water on your brush. I can just sop it up, get it really wet. Kitchen paper. And the ink's just about disappeared again. And now I can go back to a bit more controlled. So you can see how grey that's coming out now. It's just flopping around. So I'll put that on his stomach. You can't see anything, can you, at the moment? It suddenly gave them a bit more definition. But this is what I used to do to get my own ones. I used to mix my own sort of shades up. So I'd get a bit of paint. I'd even do it with normal paints, actually, and just get a mix until I felt that the colour was right. So I'd sit there and mix it and add more water, take more water out. And it's always better to start off with a little bit too much water than not to. but so I've had to mix that to get the effect, and it's still not quite right compared to what that null oil was. That null oil, absolutely no problems at all. It flowed in perfectly. It flowed in really nicely. I didn't have to mix any of it. And that's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I'd still probably use this black wash for doing large areas and large things. But for now, for models, for just normal shading and colorations and that, I'll definitely go back to doing this. So I'll stick with this. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see. This is the one we did. And I'll take some pictures of it and send it over, because this lighting is absolutely atrocious. I need to get better lighting. And that's one without it. So there you go. And that's just a quick little review of it and how easy it is to use. And it looks so much better already. And I say in the photo, I mean, especially on the browns. That's the light brown, and that's there, just washed over it. It's just so much better. Really, really good. Right, that's that for tonight. Hopefully, that'll give you a bit of a taster. Cool. Bye.